3, 2, 1, and snap.
I don't want to do your dirty work. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, don't snap. Oh, we're back in the blip. What's up, everybody? And welcome to the week 2, episode 2 wrap up of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or as it's like to be. It's actually after this past week. It's kind of become known as the Falcon and Bucky show. I'm stealing that from Dan Casey on Nerdist. But this is where we here at PS Comics I Love You go back the last hour of our life and rehash the current episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier or whatever Disney Plus show is on this week. And yeah, we're definitely looking forward to Loki and all the other stuff coming up this summer and whatnot. But yeah, it is episode 2. And man, episode 1, gas pedal all the way. I mean, this was like we have a story to tell you. Let's get after it. This one was more of a slow burn a little bit, but there was a lot happening in there. So we'll get to it. He is the Dark King, J.R. Cabacungan, at also not J.R. Comics 42 on Instagram.
Yep.
And as always, the voice of reason at voice of reason 23 on all social media platforms. Kevin Pillow coming at you from my undisclosed shield location, or I guess is it sword now? So my guy, I guess there's no better way than to get after it. We're not going to do it watch along style necessarily, but I am going to have this on in the background to kind of as a refresher course because I just watched it a couple of hours ago, and as we're recording. But
yeah, I would like to say I was kind of hoping we probably do it like just not bullet points, but more so like on good certain notes to see like, how do we feel about new Cap? How do we feel about certain beats on the episode and such?
Well, I will say this.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know now John Walker. We saw him at the very end of episode 1, makes an appearance. We don't get to see a lot of what he looks like. A lot of people, the memes were great the last 7 days. People hate John Walker.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing. They get it. A lot of them are giving the hate because he had a kind of a, for lack of a better term, a little derpy face. I mean, just kind of like it was not a great shot. But I think in the long run, I think it actually helped the fans kind of like, for example, if this, again, we used the wrestling example a couple of weeks ago. If this were wrestling, you couldn't buy that kind of heat because he comes out there and he had that dorky looking face on with the mask and people just like, oh, you suck, boo, boo. Start, again, if it was a wrestling match, they'd be throwing stuff at him like he's Hulk Hogan in 1996.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it was great because he's trying desperately, as they use a wrestling term, a white meat baby face, but he's not. People they want Steve Rogers. They don't want John Walker.
Yep.
So the fans reacted. Well, the first scene of the episode 2 is him walking through a gymnasium, and there's a shot we see him from the side, and oh my gosh, if this guy is not Kurt Russell's son, I don't know what is. He had got the jawline, the hair, and everything. But
that was a great pick too, man.
What would you? I was gonna say, what do you think of the pick of Mr. Russell here as John Walker?
He was good. It was a good pick. It was very much in that line of like all-American boy, all-American. In this case, all-American white boy. Just
Wyatt
use
Russell,
that term loosely,
basically.
Yeah, it's just more so like I understand where they're going, and I kind of caught the play along, or really early on, where I love what they're doing with how to have the build up to have. I'll leave that thought at the end of the end of this episode, but like I'm just liking for the characters themselves. It's enjoyable. I feel like, and here's what Marvel does really, really well is that they give you character. They definitely, we hate him one time, right? But then we get just a small glimpse into his life and what he's done, basically what he's trying to do for his country, basically, right?
Yeah.
And what they stated a couple things he'd done: 3-time Medal of Honor winner, the only person in history in that timeline.
Yeah, they really kind of pushed up. They tried to push the kind of the All-American Boy Scout to kind of push up that, that's kind of, I mean, it's what
Yeah.
Captain America is, what Steve Rogers was. It's what
Yeah.
what Superman is on the DC side. I will
He's-
say this: he
yeah.
did have a look a lot, because we know. Spoiler alert. And again, I'll flash it here on the bottom. Spoiler alert, not to the show, but to the overarching storyline of John Walker. Is he does take up the mantle of Captain America, but at one point he becomes U.S. agent. And I don't know yet if that's where they're going to end up with, because it does kind of sound like a hokey 1970s comic book name.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that the feel I got from John Walker, and I know the fans out there are going to be like, well, oh yeah, you're about to compare every poster child for the Aryan race, white boys, blonde hair, blue eyes, is it did have, and I talked with Sid about this earlier this week, is you take these fake Captain Americas. There obviously there's Cap, there's Steve Rogers. We have John Walker. Of course, we also know that there was other similar characters. Like I said, there he becomes US agent. There was other ones. I think there was a version of Patriot. There was the Patriot that we know from I can't think of his name, that was in Agents of Shield. We also know that there was a kind of a version of Captain America, but not necessarily, was a character named Nuke. Now, Nuke had the American flag painted on his face. The dude was crazy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And we saw Will Simpson, Nuke, last in the Jessica Jones series. He was the NYPD officer that ends up going crazy. He takes the red pill and whatnot. So that's what I got with Wyatt. With Wyatt Russell, he kind of reminded me of Will Travel, who was the actor who played Will Simpson in Jessica Jones, aka Nuke. And I was like, oh, that's they're kind of going with this. It's like blonde hair, blue eye poster child playing the Cap role.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they gave them background per se, right? Because like, one of the biggest things, definitely for if anyone wants to compare to Cap is well, what's his resume look like per se, right?
Yeah.
And as a soldier, just as a soldier, it's looking like this guy is definitely much more decorated than Cap was, and Cap fought in World War II, right? And even at that time, of course, this guy has had a longer career per se in being a military serviceman, and it's just looking like he's the guy, right? It's makes sense for them. It makes sense for the U.S. government or the American government at this time in this timeline to say that we know the Captain America. He fits all the bills. The only thing that he does not have, quote unquote, at this point in time is a super serum. How that will go sometime this series, we do not know. I can definitely have some theories on what might possibly happen, especially when the things that were unveiled just this freaking episode, which is really freaking cool. How did you feel then at this time about the interplay between it's kind of a weird thing to be on those, like between the two teams, right? Because you got Captain America and Battlestar Battlestar, right?
Key alert. Tune into next week's episode about collectors, because we're going to talk about that. So remember that name, Battlestar. Anyways, I liked it.
Yeah, between him and Battlestar, and as well as as with Falcon and Bucky. And so, how do you feel?
And you just brought up a good point. Which, by the way, the director, who is, I think, also kind of showrunner, maybe not the actual showrunner, but I think she's heavily involved with the overall production of this show, not just the director, is killing it, by the way.
Absolutely.
A lot of people pointed out that the first episode, very, very Winter Soldier-esque, very Captain America Winter Soldier. This one, you nailed it right on the head. And maybe you did it inadvertently. Very Civil War-esque.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the which I know people go like, Kevin, it's a typical 3-arc story, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, like JR said, there's two teams. There's Bucky, and there's Sam, and they're like they're kind of like they're I should say they're Team Cap.
Yeah.
And then you have Captain America, we'll call him U.S. Agent John Walker, and was it Frederick? Is it no
The
what's
guy's name. Yeah, I'll try to find it right now.
Hoskins is
Yeah.
his first last name. Is it? I can't remember now. But yeah, Battlestar is kind of like almost kind of like Team Iron Man a little bit.
Lamar.
Lamar
Hoskins.
Hoskins. And by the way, for those of you who are looking again, we will talk about this in next week's episode about key books. Is there are a few Hoskins characters in comic books that are connected in Marvel. If you go looking for Lamar Hoskins in most apps and most, it's very difficult to find them. You have to look for Battlestar. So if you're looking to collect books based on this episode, which again there was a lot of key drops, I that's what you're gonna be looking for. But I like the interaction. Obviously, I like the tension that these two have. I know they work well together. I love Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan's chemistry.
Oh yeah, they're great.
You can't duplicate it. I mean, it came so naturally. And it's funny was this show, 100% of this show was based on one scene and one scene alone. And it was not the last scene in Endgame. It was based on the scene in the airport in Captain America Civil War, where he's laying on the ground and he goes, you could have done that the whole time. He goes, I hate you. Yeah. And it's just like, and they said, okay, they have something here. Like they just, that whole scene with them running through the airport, interacting with Spider-Man and stuff like that. Kevin Feige knew I have a buddy cop show here. And
absolutely.
You can't be.
I love that interplay because one, just seeing just easily the, I forgot the terminology of the word, right? I'm losing my words at the moment, but it's the conjunction, not conjunction, but the juxtaposition. There you go. The juxtaposition between, I guess, the new guys and the old guys.
Yeah.
Right. Those, pre-blip and those post-blip, and just seeing how the world at that point already passed the old guys up because it's been 5 years. Yeah. And that everything is kind of changed, and we even within a certain, after another conversation that those four have again of how you, Captain America, and Battlestar have to work within a lot of bureaucracy, while our guys are free agents and they're able to basically go where they can't go. And I'm just loving this type of you have one guy, literally the new Cap saying that I'm not trying to be Steve Rogers. He's I feel, okay, I'm just gonna say what I was gonna say at the end anyway. I feel that a lot of the vitriol that would have been given to Anthony Mackie or to given to Captain Falcon his way, if he became Captain America first episode, would be the same vitriol that was given to the new Captain America right now. I feel like we got a great set of writers and a great set of a great director in this, where they're gonna inevitably give that great heel turn and that great passing of the torch when inevitably Falcon becomes Captain Falcon, because we see of all this vitriol, you and I have towards this guy, even though we kind of empathize with him. Yeah. Right? He's just a guy trying to do his job, and he's a good old boy, quote unquote, and he just he's a veteran, and he continues, and he wants to serve because he wants to serve his country. Great things. You're still not Captain America, and the closest person to Captain America now that people are going to realize is Falcon, because everything is gearing towards that, and I'm liking how they're setting this up, because when inevitably Falcon takes that shield for himself, we're gonna say yes, thank you, as long as not that motherfucker. No disrespect to Johnny Walker right now. It's just that he was set up for failure for a reason. It's a tragic reason now thinking about it, and it's awesome to think of it this way, specifically for Marvel characters, because of how well-rounded they can be now.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Because we were thinking about now, all right, so what's going to happen after the series? But we'll get to that bridge when we cross it. But just seeing this interplay between these two teams is great. How is Battlestar gonna come into this situation? I'm hoping that Battlestar is and not just a character that's going to be just for this small series. I'm hoping further down the line, what's that kind of interplay going to be like, as well as all the other characters introduced in this episode, man. How did you feel, my friend, about the Flag Smashers?
Flag Smashers are great. We get to see for the first time. We get to see now. For those of you who are again, this is just a teaser for next week's episode. We are going to talk about. And this is another key issue that's going to come out. I want to say it's Captain America like 343. We'll get to it. But
Yeah.
Flag Smasher was a character named Carl Morgenthau.
Yeah.
Now we meet for the first time this episode. We meet a young lady in the back of a semi.
Yep.
Who we think is a damsel in distress or a kidnap victim. It ends up being another super soldier that kicks the ever-living crap out of Winter Soldier right into the back of another truck. And we find out later in the episode, this is Carly Morgenthau. Now you're thinking, okay, is this Carl's daughter, niece, whatever? No, this is a gender bend where Disney is going a different direction with a great actress who you will recognize from Solo, a Star Wars movie. And she has definitely changed a little bit too. There's obviously a little growing up. I know that she was super young when she made Solo, which was only just a few years ago. But but I loved her in here. She of course kept the curls. Can't get rid of the trademark.
Yeah, of course.
But you can see the deviousness in this character in Carly that is really going to help lead this group. But at the same time, she really shows her, she's not completely inhuman, no pun intended. That she has emotions and stuff like that. So which comes up later in the episode. But no, Flag Smashers obviously wanting to reset the world back to the way it was before the blip. Now that was their intention in episode 1. Now we've got a little bit more kind of a little bit more clarity, so to speak, of what's going on. There's a new group put together, part of the governments of the world. That's a kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Lack of a better term, reparation group. And these are it's organizations with different with different countries to help blip citizens get back into the world, because you got to think 5 years have passed. Imagine what would happen in 5 years. Your significant other gets remarried, you lose your house, you lose your people, sell your property, stuff like that. And that's what they're trying to do is like, hey, we get it, life went on without you, but you're back. You have rights, so to speak, and that's what they're trying to do. And I know there is a little bit of a social justice kind of tie-in there with some of the storylines of the as Bucky even said, like they were calling them refugees, people that are stuck or locked out, so to speak, of the blip. And Carly makes a point. She goes, why should we care so much about the people that left? Because it seems like they care more about them than they care about the people who have been here the whole time. And so again, there's a little subtle wink, social justice a little bit there to what's going on right now in the world. But I thought it was an interesting storyline about what would happen if you kind of got blipped out of existence, or you were gone for 5 years and then you came back. And
I personally enjoyed that little aspect. I'm granted, if anything, she's gonna be from this standpoint. I'm guessing that she's probably gonna be a long-standing character. Come in, reading up the history on who Flag Smasher was. Flag Smasher honestly is not even a B tier. It's more like a C to D tier character in the Marvel scope, right? And I forgot. I've read up about him a little bit, but he wasn't that big of a character. And so for them to gender bend a character, honestly, that he had moments and he had arcs in there. It's just that the ideal now that of Flag Smasher was represented to now is that what do you do basically post apocalypse in the sense, like you got to live life, right? And it's looking like the government is with the governments of the post-blip world are trying to make peace with those who came back. But if you lived in poverty during that time, and those who came back are given money when you are still in poverty, how would one feel? And I like that outfit because I like that output because, or that ideal because it's giving them a proper motivation. Granted, yes, freedom fire that can be, that can be very a stress opportunity, and like I'm liking that they're keeping it to this level. It's not anywhere in the, it's even though it's freedom fighters, yes, it's not anything above their pay grade, right? It's not gonna be
Yeah.
above, uh, it's not gonna be above, Falcon and Winter Soldier's pay grade in the sense of like they're gonna need a Captain Marvel or anything like that. I'm liking that it's this level as
Yeah,
it should be.
it is funny that they do make a moment. They do make a reference in the moment where like, and obviously people they keep recognizing Sam Wilson, like, oh my gosh, it's Sam Wilson, stuff like that. And they've done it a couple times
Yeah.
in this last episode and in the first episode and the second episode.
Yeah.
Is they're recognizing, is they aren't really hammering out, hey, God, this is an Avenger, which makes me wonder. I'm like, did the Avengers disband after the events of Endgame?
I
Because they, I mean, they make reference to a little bit like in episode one when they go to the bank, they talk about, how do Avengers get paid and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Is Tony Stark have like a retirement fund or something like that? But it's obvious that Sam is back working with
U.S.
uh
government.
with the US government, most likely directly the Air Force.
Mhm.
By the way, did they say what branch of the military that John Walker was in?
No, I mean
Okay.
it's looking like just from fatigues,
It
from
looks like
armor.
Marines.
Yeah.
Marines are army.
Yeah.
There is a shot of Battlestar, and he has an insignia on his right shoulder. Matter of fact, I'm looking at
Yeah.
it right now, and it looks like um I can't quite. I'm not up completely up. I can't say like, oh, it's private first class, blah, blah,
No.
blah. But he has some kind of specific military class insignia on his right arm.
Yeah.
But I think I want to say it's Army. It looks like Army, but I'll do some more research
Yeah. At
about
this
it.
point,
But
it wouldn't be. It wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if the Frogmen. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they were Frogmen. Maybe seals, of course.
yeah, we
But
know that Falcon is now kind of working with the United States government,
yeah.
who I think Bucky is working with just directly the Department of Defense,
Yeah.
just like so the
Yeah.
whole for like the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, and again we're getting one of the classic scenes where they're on both sides. I will say this: what was kind of cool, there was a moment where on that semi truck scene where they're
Yeah.
barreling down the highway, and out of nowhere, which was not in the trailer, at least no one saw it, where we assumed it's just Bucky and Sam fighting, but it's actually ends up being John and
Battlestar.
and Battlestar come in as well.
Yeah. Man.
And I like there was a moment where they kind of fist bump or whatever, and it was kind of cool because it was kind of a nod to the old comics of Bucky and Cap and Steve, because he was Cap's little buddy. He was
Yeah.
the, gee golly, sir, I really want to come work with you. Like, it always was insinuated that Steve was this older guy, probably in his well, I mean, older guy, I mean, like maybe in his early 20s, and that
Yeah.
Bucky was considerably younger, that he was
Yeah.
kind of almost like the boy wonder to Captain America.
Yeah.
So there was kind of like that, kind of like I said, it was just kind of simple little fist bump, but to me, it was kind of like, hey, that's his buddy.
Yeah.
And I know I'm now the second time watching it through, as it's kind of here off to the side. I'm kind of warming up to Battlestar a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
did
like
like
both the characters.
I did like the part where he tells him his nickname, and
Battlestar.
he says
Like
Battlestar.
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 I
He's like,
stop the car.
stop the car. It's just right. You said it word for word, right? When he
Stop
said
the
it,
car.
I was
Yeah.
just stop the
No,
car. I was like, I am
it's
not dealing with this shit.
yeah. It's I'm telling people like I've told you, the dialogue carries most Marvel films,
Yes.
right? Because one, the dialogue is gonna be the main contributor in for you and for most people to accept the character, right? And it has to be very not just scripted dialogue, but more so just like, you know, just human dialogue.
Yeah.
This is one of my reasons why I just can't get over certain, DC films because of just bad dialogue where And there has been definitely big occasions of that particular bad dialogue in Marvel movies. Biggest one, Thor 2. Who has the best dialogue in Thor 2? Loki. And
Oh,
there's that
absolutely.
is the reason why Loki is probably the best character in Thor 2. It's because of dialogue, and you'll see this here in just these small scenes where you have two new we have the new Cap group and the old Cap group in a freaking Humvee together, not even a Humvee but a car together, trying to take a ride, and one guy trying to get get the approval of old Cap team. Just that small little dialogue they have in there is just pays off so well. Even that last line that Johnny said, that Walker says, right, to Sam, where he goes, if I had Cap, if I had Steve's what's it called again, like his what's that line that Walker says,
Oh,
if I
crap.
had Captain America's old sidekick or something like that, right, it would help things smooth over, right? And just a small little stuff like of Sam going, it's always that last line, and he walks out. Like just
Oh, yeah, yeah,
small
yeah.
little human moments like that really does wonders for anything. It makes honestly a movie or a IP about superheroes feel grounded in a sense. That's one of
Hey,
the biggest. That's one of my biggest complaints when when you and I watched separately, freaking Justice League, the Snyder Cut, just because everything was over dramatized. If they had
yeah.
more scenarios where just they have a small conversation with just human dialogue, it would have gone so much better. But
Real
teach
quick,
his own.
I'm at the scene where we see Carly Morgenthau. Her name is finally
Yeah.
revealed when they're doing the wipe. They're trying to get
Mhm.
um they're getting off the grid because
Yep.
there's people tracking them down. There's a moment where she's texted by
Oh
somebody
yeah, yeah.
and says like I know, basically I know who
I know
you
what she did.
are.
I'm gonna kill you.
I'm gonna kill you. Do you have any idea who that possibly could be? Could it be the power brokers, as they're calling them?
I'm guessing.
Which
I honestly thought it was freaking Zemo, but
that's
then
what I was thinking too.
yeah, I thought it was
And
Zemo for a little bit.
but let's talk about that. Like we're gonna jump ahead real quick.
Yeah,
We're gonna be kind of all over the place. This is going to kind of find my favorite parts.
yeah,
Is inevitably the show leads to there's a lot of triggers.
yeah.
Falcon and Bucky go and meet a former um not colleague but a former rival to Bucky, and that is of
Mm.
course the guy right over your shoulder, Isaiah Bradley,
Oh yeah,
who was the first
great
black
fucking scene.
Captain America in
Mm.
comic book form.
Yep.
We find out that he too is a super soldier.
Mm-hmm.
We find out that he was in the United States military, but it is also hinted at that he also was a super soldier that may have not just rivaled Bucky, but may have partnered with
Bested
Bucky.
him.
So was he a part of Hydra? So Hydra kind of comes back into the conversation. Remember, Kevin
Yeah.
Feige said a couple of weeks ago that they were not done with Shield and
Yeah.
Hydra. That they might. So
I don't know if they actually partnered up per se because
what
there
I
was
meant partner was like they were in the same program. Like they
oh
weren't like he was like Bucky was obviously a Hydra sleeper
yeah,
agent, whereas Isaiah could have
you
been with
think
Shield
yeah,
or with the SSR or something like that.
yeah, it was no, not hell no, not USSR. He was
No, no,
definitely
no. The SSR, the Strategic Science Reserve. Now, the
that's right, that's right.
SSR, for those of you who are keeping track at home, was the predecessor to the modern Shield that we know in
That's right.
Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline. The SSR was created shortly after World War II when Cap went into the ice. Um, Peggy Carter joined an
Right.
organization
That's
that
right.
was kind of
Ran,
I guess. Well,
a
I
little
was
bit
gonna
of
say
Howard
ran
Stark.
by Howard Stark, but it wasn't
No,
ran
no,
by
he
Howard
left the
Stark.
first episode.
No, it was no, but Peggy went to work for the SSR, which was the Strategic Science Reserve, which was the predecessor to Shield. The fallout of the SSR, you have Peggy Carter, who worked up the ranks to become one of their top agents, and
Mm.
then you have Howard Stark and I believe Nick. No, it wasn't Nick Fury.
No.
It was Howard, Peggy, and it may have been Hank Pym and eventually becomes one of the board members, so to speak. I think it was just Howard and Peggy that create Shield out of SSR.
Yeah, well, whatever that case may be, those just this man.
I'm just kind of curious
Isaiah
because
Bradley. Just going back to Isaiah Bradley, like it's crazy how they just gave you a small little hint of who this character was and what he was supposed to represent. And for those who don't know, Isaiah Bradley was seen as the Black Captain America. He was written. His first and only, sadly, his first and only book was Truth, Red, White, and Black, in January 2003. So he's within the last 20 years now. He was written by an artist. He was written by, one second, I gotta find the name of it because I forgot to put this down. He was written. Original concept was from Bill Jack Smith and Alex Alonso, but in the writing for Black, White, and Red,
that was Truth
by Robert
right?
Morales, and I liked how they kept him in it because, and I'm liking how they kept the original origin for it, or he gave you small hints to his original origin because he was supposed to be a representation of the Tuskegee incidents that did happen in America. And for those who don't know that,
the Tuskegee, is it Tuskegee or
Tuskegee? Incident where there were a lot of Black Americans, African Americans in poverty were given false hope, basically, and they had syphilis, and a lot of that was basically translated into Isaiah Bradley and how they gave him super serum. But I'm glad he's freaking in the MCU.
Oh, I didn't know much about the character until I had kind of read some stuff leading up to the show that there was going to be versions of Captain America or versions of the super soldier that we know when I say not super soldiers that we know, but I mean like the type of super soldiers that we have known, and that of course being Bucky and Steve Rogers. I was surprised that I was like, okay, they're going to give Isaiah his moment, and I was like, but are they going to be true to it? Are they just going to say he was a someone who fought against or side by side with Bucky? But when he took that box and he threw it into a wall, I was like, no, homeboy's got freaking superpowers. Sweet, they're going full cap on this, and I loved it. It was a great scene. It was probably this whole section was probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it was definitely one of my favorites. I love this. I just love the fact that they gave him that moment per se, because one, it also brings up questions like, well, okay, then after they did to Steve Rogers the super serum, would the American government ever want to take this up again, right? Even though the original creator has long since been dead, would they ever do this again? And we see night and day, absolutely. Now again, oh, excuse me, I got something stuck in my throat. Black Captain America, I'd like to say, oh my god, I hope we see more of him, honestly. Just seeing how freaking Sam's reaction during and after is so poignant, and I freaking love that, man. Some people are gonna say, "Oh, that's SJW," but like, bro, like, no, this isn't comics. This is
no. I want to know. At that first, I'm wondering if Sam, because you see afterwards, Sam gets pissed. Why did you tell me about this? Why did you tell me about this? I'm wondering if, I mean, I guess it was more along the lines of Sam's pissed because they experimented on African Americans back during. I think they said it was during. I think it may have been during Vietnam, or in between Korea and Vietnam.
Yeah.
I think he was more pissed about that. But I'm wondering if because Sam Wilson has access to a lot of DoD files, I'm wondering if maybe he knew before meeting Isaiah Bradley that he knew of Isaiah Bradley or knew of this quote program, and that Bucky kept it secret. But I don't know. But it was a great scene, and of course it led to another great scene in that kind of is poignant to today's goings on, and that is they're in Baltimore, by the way.
Yeah.
And here is a white man and a black man in the middle of a street in broad daylight
In a black neighborhood.
and black neighborhood. But if you look around, though, yeah, I don't want to say black neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's not a nice part of town.
Mhm.
Houses are a little bit run down,
Mhm.
but that's Baltimore.
Yeah.
Not digging on Baltimore. I'm just saying there's parts of that city that are like this. There are other ethnicities in the background coming out of the houses, but it's definitely not the rich side of town. Let's put it that way. It is very white collar neighborhood, maybe even lower than that.
You mean blue collar? You mean blue
Well,
collar?
blue collar. I apologize. Blue collar, and or less, but still broad daylight. You have a black man yelling at a white guy, and
I don't know where the cops show up.
Baltimore PD shows up, and it was funny. It was like you see it over the shoulder in one of the first shots. You see it over the shoulder of Sam, over Sam's shoulder, and I'm wondering, like, are they just going to do that just for background, or is it? And all of a sudden, whoop whoop! And I'm like, they're going to go there, and you have a guy pop out. Excuse me, sir, is this man bothering you? And it's just like, oh, they're going to go there.
Yeah.
And of course, once again, immediately the other cop goes, oh crap, dude, that's an Avenger. Hey, oh my gosh, it's Sam Wilson, it's the Falcon. And it's like, and he almost has that moment, that come to Jesus moment, where it's like, should that make a difference?
Yeah.
Why do I have to be Sam Wilson? Why do I have to be an Avenger for it to make a difference, for me to have a heated argument with my friend, so to speak? I will say that I've read some places online that it was a cop out, no pun intended, that they take Bucky in, the white guy, and not the black guy. That it was kind of like, it was like a jab. It was like them kind of getting the flipping the coin on the white guy, so to speak. And I'm like, no, guys, watch the freaking episode. There was a point to Bucky getting arrested. He broke the law.
Yeah.
It's like, he's so dumb.
Probation. He's supposed to get probation. Like, come on.
Quit looking for, and that's the problem that I have.
Yeah.
Let's get SLW, or let's get SJW here for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. White guy, blonde hair, whatever you want to say, blonde hair, blue eyes. Okay. I had no problem with the scene. It was a poignant scene. It was important to tell the story of what goes on in that city. It's a rough city. I'm going to say it. It may not be a great city, because crap like this happens all the time. And I had no problem with the scene. I had a couple friends that are like, oh my God, do we have to have this? I watched Disney and Marvel to get away from something. I'm like, no, this is, Stan Lee would approve. Yeah. Let's put it that way. Stan Lee would approve of this scene. I had no problem with it. What I have a problem with is the people flipping the race card and looking for, saying like, oh yeah, they put the white guy in the cop car, or the people going, yeah, I'm glad they put the white guy in the cop car. I'm like, no, quit looking for something that's not really there.
Yeah.
It was important to the story for Bucky to get taken in for what happens next. We get marriage counseling. So, but I mean, what did you?
That scene specifically, I really did enjoy, because the way they had how they handled that scene.
Yeah,
particularly,
it
like
wasn't
how
over
that
the
scene was
top.
shot. No, it was not. It was definitely subtle, as it should be, as most of those particular cases happen to be. It's very subtle. It's very much like, I'm having a conversation with my friend and we're angry. One, because I found out there's a freaking black Captain America. No one ever fucking told me.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're yelling to your friend, and just having just small things like that. It is a real life type of thing. And like, that's the reason why you enjoy this. You know, coming in, to a Marvel movie, what you're getting into. Real life events, trying to be, superheroes given real life scenarios. That's it. Heroes giving real life scenarios. That's what you're getting. This is a very poignant scene, specifically in this time, and it was great and classy in the way they did it, right? And they gave the guy who broke his parole to go vendetting with his friend because he could not accept the role as Captain America, because he himself is having abandonment issues, right? It fits the narrative well. And this is what you get with Marvel films, and IPs. You get a well-rounded story, Zack Snyder, you
So
get
true.
this thing where it's easy to understand, easy to digest because you understand the characters and their flaws.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
Watching this scene again,
Yeah.
of Bucky being arrested. The dude is a well-known super soldier.
Yeah.
Has
Assassin.
He's an assassin. He has a Wakandan vibranium arm. Why in the blue hell is Baltimore PD handcuffing him?
For show, I guess.
But I
What's
do
his
like
front
the fact,
too, though?
and I will say that Bucky goes, at least Bucky's showing like, you know what? You're right. I broke the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going peacefully. Like I could
Yeah.
easily go, what? Seriously? Punch you in the
Yeah.
face and get away. But
Yeah.
he's like, no, you're right. I broke the rules. Wrong. Move along. Do my stuff. He's just because just like in episode 1, he's just trying to get along. Like,
Yeah.
it hinted at like he's going in, like he's gonna go and spy on these people. He's still gonna do espionage and
Yeah.
do work for DOD and the FBI and stuff. But he's like, at the end of the day, he doesn't want to punch anybody. He just wants to go home
Mhm.
and get the ghosts out of his head, basically.
Yeah.
But then we get to
It's-
the scene with this scene.
well, before
Uh,
that though, actually, just more so on the aspect of fake cap.
oh yeah, Johnny
I'm just gonna
Walker,
call him fake cap until they call him, until they call him American agent or whatever. Fuck his
U.S.
name is.
agent. Yeah,
U.S. agent, right? And how fake cap just comes in, signs all these autographs, and says, "Yeah, just whatever happens, put on my desk. It's me, it's this guy, right?" I'm like, they're really. I've seen that some people have watched The Boys. Okay, then cool. I've seen that this person has watched The Boys, or definitely understands this aspect of like, okay, when you are a figure, public figure and a superhero, how does one approach this scene, right? And so I get the small little tidbit of like saying that, hey, you kind of owe me now, and that, hey, it's better for us to work together, blah blah blah. And when you guys are done, see me outside. He's very much making the cap calls.
yeah.
He's making the captain calls until until we get to this particular scene, and I love this scene. I enjoy. I This is the scene I have anticipated or have looked forward to watching since watching the trailers. In the essence of like just this chemistry they have, this type of buddy cop drama type of like, can we ever get together, Ebony Ivory type shit, and just basically having just two friends just be this. I enjoyed it. Love the interplay. I love how easily they bounce off each other. The chemistry is there easily, and I want this to continue to go on. I hope we do for the next 4 episodes now.
4 episodes. We gotta get so we get this interaction, and um we do the other interaction I did like was that when, of course, when we see Bucky and Sam, and I am going to refer to him as Bucky because that's all they were calling him in the episode. But which, by the way, also both costumes, both sidekick costumes, great job of the costume designers. I'm still a big fan of the Johnny Walker costume. Very much looks like U.S. agent. Also, really a kind of almost a callback to we mentioned in last week's episode, a callback to the Nomad costume that Steve Rogers wore in after he
Infinity
gave
War?
up the shield. What's that?
Infinity War.
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, he wore a version of Nomad in Infinity War, but there was with the stripes specifically, like John Walker's wearing in this show. Cap Steve Rogers had a version of that when he was Nomad, which is when he he gave up the shield, stuff like that. Which, by the way, I know that the Russos have come out and said that it was too on the nose to call him Nomad. It said it was too on the nose for the hardcore fans, but too deep of a cut for the average non-comic book reading fan. So that's why they didn't call him Nomad in Infinity War. So I don't know. I thought it would be kind of fun. You could have even, I don't know, just kind of like thrown in like randomly, just had it like be his password on a computer or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But because it leads to me, the thing is like, are they going to call him U.S. agent when and if Sam Wilson takes up the mantle of Captain America? But I did like the interaction. I want to go back to the hangar when they first meet up in earlier in the episode. I love the little banter about the big three:
Yeah.
aliens. Was it aliens,
Aliens, androids,
androids,
and
and wizards?
wizards. Yeah.
And then he goes, like what?
What?
We
When do
haven't
we
met
see a
those
wizard?
guys. I'm like, yeah, we've met all three. He goes,
When we
we
see a
haven't met
wizard?
who's
We
a
never met
wizard?
one.
He goes,
Doctor
it's Doctor
Strange.
Strange. He goes, he's a
That's
sorcerer.
a sorcerer. He goes, wow, sorcerers are just wizards without their hats. I'm like, we're having this conversation. I fucking love it. I can't believe we're having this dumbass conversation. I fucking love it.
And again, a great opportunity for continuity.
Yeah.
Is he goes, oh, wizards, what are you, what are we looking for, Gandalf? He goes,
Gandalf?
wait a minute, how do you know about Gandalf? He goes, I read The Hobbit when it originally came out in 1936.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I love it. I've just loved the little, like, yes, I'm 106 years old.
Yep.
Deal with it.
Again,
which, by the way,
again, great fucking writing.
Yes, fluid. Which, by the way, I have always said, if time travel was real, where would you go? And I have always said I would go back to the 1930s, 1940s, and to be a fly on the wall at a pub when J.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis would meet up. Now, for those of you who don't know, J.R. Tolkien, obviously the creator of The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, C.S. Lewis, the creator of the Chronicles of Narnia. The two of them, obviously, deep in faith, so to speak. Both, for the lack of, it's well known the two of them were Christian writers, but they also like to go down to the old watering hole. And I would absolutely love to be a fly in the wall when Tolkien and Lewis were having a couple of pints down at the pub. But I digress. We get to see the Flag Smashers move around the globe trotting. The last we saw them was in Munich. Now they're in, I think they said they were in Slovakia, or Slovakia. And I had to take a double take because I thought for a second there, I thought for a second there, it said Latveria. And I was like, oh, it doesn't. It says Slovakia.
No.
I was like, damn it.
They would not go that far that fast. No.
Why not?
They do Latveria and they show any semblance of who.
No, just throw it up there. And like make it some like weird, because they put the city name first and then they put the country underneath. Just go
estate, really?
Or just but even if you recanonize or like manipulate the canon of Latveria and you make it sound like, because it's in the comic books, it's a one city kingdom.
Yeah,
that it's only made up of basically the kingdom where Doctor Doom oversees. But make it a little bit bigger of a country, and you say, oh, it's Hanamanapia, Latveria, and it just go, so people go like, what? Just make them check swing for a second. It would be great. Which I think we're going to get with the way the Flag Smashers are globe trotting around, picking up, which I think is they're picking up supplies. I think this goes back to what you're saying, JR, is that
they've actually said it before that that when after that scene specifically where they're having that one-on-one talk, which I would like to get back to, because that whole thing of the reason why Bucky continues to live is amazing little point there, and you see his art. But just when they go out after that scene, they go and meet fake Cap and Battlestar. They go like, okay, what have they been doing? They've been stealing medicine, and they've been giving this medicine around the world.
And it's thought that maybe it's not medicine, that they're stealing. I think there was a moment where they said that they're stealing maybe this more super soldier serum to build a bigger army, but I don't think that's the case. I think, like you said, they're taking medicine around the world. So, and I know there's a moment where they call Carly Morgenthau, they call her Robin Hood, of course, famously steal from the rich to feed the poor. Now, going to full circle, going back to when we were talking about oh my goodness, I just think I can't think of his name. Isaiah Bradley's
Yeah.
involvement with the Super Soldier program, that it does bring up, it does re-bring up Hydra. It does re-bring up that program, and so we see a moment where Bucky um and Falcon are walking, and they're like, "Hey, how are we gonna, how are we gonna do this? We need to find out how these guys are getting super soldier serum." They're basically trying to find out how the um super soldier program is working now in this case 2023.
Mhm.
And well, let's go to the guy who knows more about Hydra's history than probably anybody who is in Hydra. And he goes, and you see Falcon and Bucky are both like, no. Falcon or Sam's like, no, we can't. Why would we want to go see him? Why would you want to go see him? And he goes, I need to talk to him. I need to know. He knows more about Hydra than anybody else. And so as the scene's coming to a close, Sam goes, all right, let's go.
Let's go see Nemo.
Let's go see Zemo. And then of course we go to Germany. And we go through this high security prison, and there, standing in the dark, disheveled, growing beard, longer hair, not the clean cut ex-military assassin that we've grown to love from Civil War. It is Helmet Zemo.
Yep.
And
like I clapped when I saw him again, dude.
Oh, so great. Such a great reveal.
Yeah.
The shadows, the side with, like I said, with the scruffiness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
really
then credits.
Good actor. You're really good actor, I must say. And I was hoping they would continue to use him somehow, and just hearing news of this, him being in the series, and hopefully somewhere down the line, continue to stay on. Granted, it might not happen, but just seeing an outlet possibly to having a lot of these, quote unquote lesser known characters or characters not being used anymore comes to possibly, Netflix, or not Netflix, to streaming, just Disney Plus, and like just seeing him again, because you have this great stable of actors and actresses and just people who are just know how to act within Marvel.
Yeah.
And how now you're able to plug all of them into an existing universe. And
Daniel Bruhl, that's his name.
Yeah, Daniel Bruhl. And so, like, I'm just hoping, I always enjoyed this version of Zemo. Granted, it's not the canonical quote unquote version. I feel like his motivations are much better, way more better, in the sense of like, okay, then how realistically can we play a Captain Zemo character that's originally kind of crazy, kind of I can't say world domineering, but then kind of that end, and some bug fly in my face. How do we have him be more realistic in this sense, specifically with the Russos?
Yeah.
And they done it correctly. Like, what more can you give the man when you take everything away from him? Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the thing. I'm like, the main reason is because superheroes or heroes did this horrendous thing. It is kind of poignant that it's under the watch of Joss Whedon, and that they did this horrendous and horrible thing, and there must be retribution to be had.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Well, I'm gonna just up and absolutely everything that you are, and try to take everything you do, because you are basically held to no account. There's no accountability there at all, and so that is his character. That is a great key motivating factor, man. Like, the dude lost his fucking family, and then not only that, but he went to go hunt every single one of the long-standing Hydra that's hiding, and he assassinated them. Are you serious? The man is insane. The man has a great track record, man. And so I'm glad that he brought him back. I do feel that this Zemo is way underappreciated. A lot of people will say that, oh, he was a very underwhelming character in Civil War. Well, one, you got freaking Black Panther, you got Captain America, and you have that in AAA. That man connected all that shit together, and he
that's the thing, is he wasn't even the big bad. I mean, I know he was the end all, like he was the puppet master. He was the puppet master. He played him. But for the entirety of the movie, there were two other villains.
Yeah.
There was Tony Stark
Mhm.
and Bucky were the
Yeah.
two villains, so to
Yeah.
speak.
He
So
was,
yeah,
if anything, Zemo was the most human out of all of them. He was
absolutely.
he is to get a little SJW. He epitomized the anger of a father and a husband through through quote unquote toxic masculinity, right? Where does this thing go? Well, he's gonna upend a program where you were supposed to bring the UN nation together and tear that apart because of a radical, in his eyes, a radical vigilante group that destroyed his freaking city.
Yeah.
And you give him nothing. And then he knew he was gonna die, and he was hoping that Black Panther would kill him because of how he feels of like how he killed his father. And you see how poignant Black Panther was, or how Black Panther was above that, and awesome, amazingly so that they they freaking got, they got the Black Panther man to be above that and say, no man, like, no, let's end this freaking this hatred, but you're still going to jail and you got to sit with what you've done. Like, it's the most, I guess, like that is what Zemo has done is the quote unquote, I guess, ideal or goal that I feel most men would do if they were put in that situation or try to do, right? Oh, if somebody, if you know who killed your family, what would you do?
Yeah.
Right? And that is the most possible choice of a man of his skills. And so I'm
I
just
will
happy
say,
to see more of
yeah,
them.
when they didn't kill off Batroc the Leaper in Captain America Civil or Winter Soldier, I was stoked. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
leave the character alone.
TSP.
When they didn't kill
TSP.
off Ulysses Claw in Age of Ultron,
Yes.
again, I was like, great,
Okay.
save him.
Okay.
I
Black Panther.
understand. I understand he was the key
Get to
to Eric
Wakanda.
Killmonger getting into Wakanda, but
Yeah.
I wish they would have found a way to keep Claw, because I think they could have done so much more, especially with the actor who was playing Claw.
Oh yeah.
But I would say there's two small victories that I will have. Well, technically three, because I'm gonna go on a possible conspiracy theory here. But I'm so glad that there are two villains still left in the well, actually, technically, there's a few, but Daniel Brohl's Zemo, I was
Yep.
stoked that he did not get killed off, whether it be through suicide or being collateral damage in the events of Civil War. I'm
Absolutely.
glad about that. Again, I mentioned before, Batroc the Leaper. I'm glad that GSP. I am understand. I just like JR said, he's kind of a C Squad villain.
Yep.
But he's important. He's just a fun. Is he going to be the main villain in an upcoming Captain America movie? Probably not. But
No.
I think there's things brewing under the surface when it comes to Zemo and Batroc.
Yeah.
So there's that. I also am glad, just to throw it in there, no body, no death. I don't think Ultron's dead, by the way. I know it has nothing to do with Falcon the Winter Soldier, but I just wanted to say that I'm glad that I don't think Ultron's dead. I think Ultron is still out there somewhere.
I
But
mean,
but
all
just
we saw was him getting punched in the face and righted off by Hulk. I'm like,
well,
if
no, the last thing we saw
uh,
was Vision saying, "Well, I was born yesterday," and then shoots
that's right.
him with the Mind Stone.
That's right.
But we don't know if, I mean, obviously it's an Infinity Stone, so it has powers that are beyond our comprehension. But we don't know what Ultron was able to do in that split second. Could he have once again dumped his consciousness into the Nexus and moved on to another sentient being? We don't know. But that's because there's talk about Ultron possibly coming back, whether it be in a flashback of a movie or coming back in another big, like, Avengers level movie as kind of like a second or a third tier villain. But no, just in this series alone, 2 episodes in a row where it proves to us how important it is to not just kill off a villain, because you have to give a villain an opportunity to break out of jail and wreak some more havoc. I mean,
Yeah.
if it weren't not for the terrible security guards at Arkham Asylum, DC Comics would have folded 60 years ago.
That's true.
But don't those darn inept guards at Arkham Asylum, those bad guys just keep getting out.
Oh man.
But
And we
nonetheless,
got it. We'll talk about the things that DC has done or released today, specifically it's Friday, on our podcast, the next
yes.
podcast.
For those of you who don't know, a little peek behind the curtain for next week's episode number 40. It's a big 40, dude.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about collecting, and we are going to kick the show off right at the top, talking about the Suicide Squad. And we will go. I have a whole checklist, bro.
Yep.
I'm going to be checking off the list about Suicide Squad key issues. So,
and
we're doing that.
And like I said before in that phone call we had, James freaking Gunn, aka the better Joss Whedon.
The better Joss Whedon. So top to bottom, a lot of positives come out of episode 2. Again, the great writing. A lot of credit goes to the crew on Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Absolutely.
The direction. Simple things like this. The settings. The wardrobe. I absolutely love the wardrobe. I'm a costume nerd. Sam's costume is so damn comic accurate for the period that they're kind of interpreting, and that is kind of the mid-teens of the 2000s. Bucky, the Winter Soldier costume, he's trying not to be the Winter Soldier anymore, but he does have the mechanical arm. So but the costume that he has on with the straps across the center, with the subtle reds and the dark blue, it's not black, it's like dark blue. It's very reminiscent of his original OG Bucky Barnes costume. So
I will say he is what I'm referring to, I'm pretty sure is a term, fashion tactical, right?
I'll give you
fashion
that.
tactical.
Well, that's a great line.
It's been around for years. I mean, John Wick, he has writes you that off, fashion tactical. But yeah, I just love this freaking episode, man. Just I can't. The director, you lock her down.
Yeah,
absolutely. You lock her down, and you give her whatever the hell she wants after this, because just that and the writers, just you give them, have them make 3 more, whatever you need to freaking do, but just give her anything. Hell, give her Kamala Khan. I want to see what she can do with new young blood.
Right? Well, I do know that Kamala Khan does have its own staff already for their show. And it's hinted at too that Kevin Feige has said there's an opportunity for these characters to intermix. And I told you in our tinfoil hat episode, you can listen to wherever your podcasts are available. I think it was episode number 38. Was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago?
I think it might be 3, because technically 3 episodes ago, because technically the first episode of Winter Soldier was 2 episodes ago. So
So anyways, go and look for our episode that says the tinfoil hat episode and check it out, where we talk about what my theories are about where the cinematic side is going and where the TV side is going. And I think that we're headed on the TV side towards Secret Invasion as a unit, that I think that all these shows are going to kind of line up for Secret Invasion. But again,
let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. Rather than asking you, and we got maybe a little bit of time to go on this semi-tangent, give me directors for these shows then that you would want. Secret Wars.
If it was a movie or a TV show, Secret Wars.
A movie,
Secret Wars. You got to go with the Russos. They absolutely, because they know what they want to do. They've wanted to do that, and it would be a slap in their face if you didn't give them what they want.
Okay then. How about then? Let's do Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion,
and you can choose. You want TV show or you want movie?
Well, Secret Invasion is going to be a TV show. It's going to be a mini series. They haven't said length, but I'm thinking it's going to be between 6 and 8 episodes. But it may end up being like the Defenders and might be 4 to 5 episodes.
Who do you want?
But if you do Secret Invasion, I wasn't talking to you, Sherry. Shut up. Golly, scared the crap out of me. I know that we discussed this last week or the week before about he
Mm-hmm.
does not like to do supernatural, but I think that you could tell such a unique story from so many different characters,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where they come from, whether it be Earth or outer space. But Secret Invasion is going to be a very important miniseries to
Okay.
this. I have to say, give it as much as I want to say, give a Moon Knight, give Christopher Nolan
Really?
Secret Invasion,
Damn.
and
Okay.
let him play in that sandbox.
Okay.
Only
How
because
about-
only because I'm tempted to say give the Russos both, but I don't
that's
know
just
if
too
there's
much
going
on
to be
their
that.
plate.
Well,
Yeah.
I just don't think they would if they were playing with each other. If Secret Invasion and Secret War were going to happen at the same time, and that the invasion of the Skrulls had something to do with the multiverses collapsing or something like that, then yeah, just let the Russos have at it because it's important. But I think it's going to be two separate events. And it sounds to me though, with Secret Invasion, that there is going to be elements of Secret Wars
Okay.
in Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
That the Skrulls might not just be coming from outer space, that they could be coming from space and time, that these are Skrulls from different universes. So who knows?
Okay. How about this then?
Yep.
Who would you want for champions, aka Young Avengers?
Hot damn.
If you can't choose, I'll give you mine.
For some dumb reason, the first one that pops in my head is JJ, but you're not going to get JJ to do freaking
No,
champions.
God, no.
Give me yours. Give me yours.
Kari, she's doing Falcon right now.
Oh heck yeah. Okay, duh.
Kari.
But I see that the problem with champions is no.
What?
Oh
man.
God.
She's introducing new characters. She's introducing old characters, new characters. She's positioning them really well. Their blocking is amazing. Her action scenes are there, and she's giving proper screen time. And she's really very, very delicate and hands-on when it comes to certain issues that needs to be magnified. Just from 2 episodes alone, for me. Unless they somehow get, I don't know, Francis Ford Coppola's daughter. I forgot her name. Sofia
Coppola would be good.
That'd be great. She'd be great. Or let's say even, I mean, I want to give it to maybe Taika, but at the same time, that'd be maybe a little bit too zany. You know, it wouldn't be serious film. Taika.
You know who Taika would be great if they did this?
What?
If they ever do a West Coast Avengers, let Taika Waititi do it.
Oh, and I gotta say just now because it's gonna irritate me. I already know who Taika's playing in Suicide
West Coast.
Squad. No, in Suicide Squad. I already know he's playing. I already know who it is.
Is he playing King Shark?
No, I know who that is though.
Okay, actually, I think I know who King Shark is, but oh my gosh, he's the guy from Ant-Man the Wasp and Ant-Man.
No.
Yeah, he's the Russian guy.
No, it's not him, bro. Oh, okay, maybe. Okay, is that your choice?
That's what I think it is. The Russian guy that goes.
Oh yeah. Him. Yeah, the friend. Yeah.
Yeah, part of the little crew.
For me, it's Sylvester. That's Sylvester.
Sylvester Stallone.
That's Stallone.
As Taika, as King Shark.
Yeah.
And Taika
and Taika is the rat.
No. Weasel is
James Gunn's brother?
It's James Gunn's brother.
What?
Yeah, it's Ryan Gunn. That's already been said.
What?
Taika, but yeah, Taika he's been the secret because he has not revealed what character he is playing. Now, I know he's dead, but you know what would have been great?
Ooh.
For champions, John Hughes. Go a little breakfast club, something like that. Okay. Tell that kind of story. Okay. I would love to see Sofia Coppola get involved.
That'd be a crazy get, but yeah,
it'd be a deep cut but what could she do? I mean, I hate to say have a female just because she's a female director, give her a female character.
Role. Yeah,
but You know what? No, perfect for
What?
Sophia.
Who?
Give her Riri.
I'll
But
give you
give
that.
her Riri because I think I like what she could do with that type of character.
Okay.
You know, young, impressionable,
Yeah.
but you know, there's so much promise or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
I
tough
would
to know.
actually, I would actually. Oh, sorry to interject. What's one of the I forgot the African American director that was in that cast directors that did Mandalorian.
Oh, god
Him,
dang it.
him,
Yes.
him. That's it. That's for me. I feel like he would be great because the episodes that he directed, action wise, and just having tech, and how quote unquote. And I can't say a low budget, but more so like how realistic how he shoots his angles. I feel like would really
Yes.
do well, Riri.
Yeah. I would like to see, actually, I would love to see if Favreau and Filoni would allow it. I would love to see them allow more of their core directors
Uh-huh.
to go to intermingle.
Oh.
You know, could you imagine this director? I think God, I think I can't think of her name. I want to say it's Kelly something, but that's the girl that plays
No, yeah, Kari Skogland.
Kari's going. Let her go do the Mandalorian, which I think actually did she already do an episode or no?
I don't think so. Let me check for you real quick.
But let them intermingle, dude. Let Dave Filoni direct. Let Dave Filoni direct Secret Invasion.
That'd be crazy.
Start having
I feel,
and stuff like that.
I feel though, because of how much I respect and love Dave Filoni, I think he'll be do horrible in it because of how much of a Star Wars nerd he is.
Yeah, he would make all kinds of references and stuff like that. But
you know,
let us know. Let us know in your the comments below. I know that a lot of these shows are. I think this is the very few because I think that the scope of this show is that they have one director do all 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, let us know in the comments below for the shows that aren't already have directors attached. I don't know if I don't think Secret Invasions has any kind of staff connected to it. That I don't think Moon Knight officially has a director attached to it. Ironheart doesn't. She-Hulk does. Miss Marvel does. Obviously, Hawkeye is in production right now, so it already does. But go down the list. Let us know what you think. What your comments were about this tonight's episode. What you liked, what you disliked, what they need to work on. What do you think of the big reveal of Isaiah? I think Isaiah Bradley was probably the biggest reveal of the episode. And also, you know, to get a little conversation going, what do you guys think of the kind of the social justice, the kind of the underlying Sam Wilson storyline in the show? Obviously, you had the issue last week at the bank, and now you have the cops in Baltimore.
Yeah.
What else is going? Because we all know the long term storyline is that Sam Wilson becomes Captain America, you know, for the lack of better terms, the first Black Captain America in Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, talking about because Isaiah Bradley is referred to specifically
Black Captain America.
As Black Captain America. Yeah. And a great line that was a throwaway line, and I didn't catch it till you said that earlier about Black Captain America, was as they're going to walk to meet Isaiah, there's a kid in the streets that said, "Hey, you're the Black Falcon." He goes, "No, I'm just the Falcon. Are you calling me the Black Falcon because I'm the Falcon and I'm black?" It's like calling you Black Kid. Yeah. And so I was like, when you said Black Captain America earlier, I'm like, that's right. He's not known as the first African American Captain America. No, he's known as Black Cap.
Yeah.
And actually, so I thought that was
And for those who aren't seeing this on YouTube right now, for those who can't see it, my background right now is, of course, about the one, the only Isaiah Bradley himself. Yeah. And so for those who don't know this scene, the man was so the scene, my background is a panel in, I forgot which book it was.
Is it the actual wedding?
Yes. So Isaiah Bradley got invited, not just invited, but he's a key guest of honor to the wedding of T'Challa and Aurora Monroe. For those who don't know who Aurora Monroe is, she's Storm. Yes, that Storm. Yes, they got married. And yes, he was a guest of honor at that wedding. So he's kind of a big freaking deal. I hope we see more of Isaiah Bradley. I hope they give him something else, man. Granted, they've hinted on the episode saying that like the reason why I didn't want to bring him up because he's been through so much already. I don't want to bother him anymore because he's gone through a lot of crap. And that was a very honest scene specifically from Bucky that I enjoyed. Just one Bucky's whole arc in the series so far. It's only the 2 episodes. Has been really good.
Be Black Panther Volume 4, issue number 18.
Thank you.
The Wedding of T'Challa and Aurora.
Thank you.
And I do have that book thanks to my man. Shout out to Atner, who hooked a brother up in Las Vegas in 2019 at Amazing Con, and he found a bunch of key issues. I got that book.
Ask for it back, dude. Atner, ask for it back. Real quick, come on.
Great story. He knew that I was looking for first appearance of Shuri. I was looking for that Dark Reign storyline and whatnot. I did find it and found a couple of cool variants, but he's flipping through the books and he knew that I like certain artwork and stuff like that. So he hands me a handful of books. He's like, dude, you're going to want to buy these. One of them ends up being The Wedding of Aurora and T'Challa. I bought it. It's, of course, I think is it a Campbell cover?
I don't remember.
No, it's the cover art. Is Frank Cho. That's but it's a great cover though.
Okay.
But he hands me a stack of books, and in there was Black Panther volume 18.
Okay.
But it was the B cover. And the B cover is Storm in a rather provocative outfit. Doesn't leave much to the imagination, but that's typical of the artist that did the cover, and that would be the legendary, the late great Michael Turner. Sorry, that was my phone dropping. That's what you get, Siri.
Oh, that's right. Is that cover? Okay.
It's a Michael Turner cover. This particular book that I found, or actually Atner found for me, thank you, Atner, was signed by Michael Turner. Which you do not get. Now, alive, Michael Turner will sign your back if you want, but the man's been dead for a few years, and there are not. So Michael Turner autographs are not easy to come by, and it was signed, and the guy gave me a package deal on it. I felt bad, and Atner did not ask for it. Now, I did settle up, and again, this is a shout out to our boy Empty Tombs Comics. I ended up getting a 3-pack of CGCs. Well, not CGCs. It was the CSBC graded books. And I actually ended up trading Atner a graded book for kind of like a dude, bro. You did me a solid for my collection, so here I'll hook a brother up. So, so fun little story about we're talking about T'Challa and Aurora. And did you say too that you read that Ryan Coogler wanted to do that storyline in Black Panther 2?
Yes, because the second that Fox bought, the second that Fox got bought by Disney, right? Ryan's like, I got dibs on.
That's right. He did say
Storm.
that.
He basically said that, like, okay, like he's like, I'm not waiting for X-Men. I'm just gonna cast Storm myself, and she's gonna be good.
There is talk that Aurora Monroe might still be kind of like all the directors got together and said dibs. Because there is 2 storylines. We'll wrap up on this because we could talk about this on our collectors episode later this week. There is talk that when Fox was bought by Disney, that a lot of the directors said, hey, can I have that? And that Ryan Coogler, I believe, does have first dibs at Storm, aka Aurora Monroe, and that her origin story will be kind of manipulated, that Aurora Monroe, I believe, comes from Wakanda, if not a neighboring country to Wakanda. Now that Wakanda is an open country and stuff like that. So maybe that could tie into the open borders and stuff. The other one is, be looking out for this, guys, a little teaser for things to come as we're ratcheted up. A lot of these movies are going to start to get into production that are going to be coming out in 23 and 24, is that Rogue has also been picked up by one of the directors, and that would be the director of Captain Marvel 2. And they did talk about, I think you talked a couple of weeks ago, that there is a new Captain Marvel villain coming to the movies, but I am still not 100% sold that Rogue will not rear her ugly head in that movie. So
because if anything, they probably have deep power, most likely deep power Captain Marvel. So we're gonna figure
Ooh, good
out how
point.
they do that.
Since they've
either got-
raised the bar all the way up here, that's just the most powerful
here's
superhero
the-
in the world.
Here's the thing with her, right? And then I'm hoping we end up this. If they either got to depower her, or they got to make someone just as strong as her, right?
Mhm.
On a certain level. Granted, right now the strongest character right now is of course gonna be Wanda. She bar
Yeah.
none. Second one, that one maybe Doctor Strange, and that's a big maybe. But
Yeah.
right now, in order to get just for on a certain level, on planetary level, someone's either got to depower they got depower Captain Marvel or be as strong as her. So that's probably gonna be Rogue.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be mutant. So here we go.
All right, guys, let us know in the comments below what you liked or disliked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode number 2. What do you, and it's kind of as a bonus question. What is your fantasy draft? You draft the remaining shows, not without a director or a main creative staff. You fantasy draft these Disney Plus shows that are coming up. And you know what? Just as one more extra question, let us know beyond Falcon and the Winter Soldier, what show are you most looking forward to next? I'll tell you one thing. I'm looking forward to Loki. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Yeah. I cannot wait. Cannot wait for What If. I cannot wait for What If. Because this is where dreams come true. This is where because you think about it though.
Wait, for those who don't know, my boy just he went from a seated position all the way straight up to his camera. This is where dreams come true, my friend.
Hear me out. If it were not for What If, Jason Aaron would probably not have his greatest accomplishment as a writer, and that is the Mighty Thor, because Jane Foster's appearance as the Mighty Thor was originally in What If. Now yeah, and I have it. My wife has it. We have 2 copies in this house right now. She has the better copy, of course. But
send it out?
Am I going to send it? I might send hers out because I think hers is in better condition.
No.
And
I was actually a question for myself. I think I sent mine out already.
Okay. Well, yeah, I do have that. And that book, I tell you one thing. I was sitting in line for Comic-Con in 2019. And it was like watching the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just flipping through Jane Foster books going, bro. Oh, it was like just the ticker going crazy. And that first Jane Foster book though,
Thor it is.
that even though it has nothing to do with the storyline, that What If book went through the roof. So guys, if you have some What If books, you may want to hold on to them. Because man, I tell you one thing, you know who's gonna be money is of course the Z-Man, Mr. Z. I think he has every single What If book. So
yeah, he does.
So all right, guys, thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe, click the little ring bell there if you're on YouTube to get future notifications. Leave a comment below about what you like, dislike about this week's episode. That, of course, is Falcon and Winter Soldier. And, of course, all the comments, all the questions that we gave you for homework this week. And don't forget to tune in for episode number 40 later this week. We go collecting. We go flipping through some long boxes and telling you what you need to get, what you should do some CGC into, and what's going to be some new keys now that these 2 guys keep popping up Easter eggs. So, all right, guys, have a great night. I'm Kevin Pillow. He is
Cabacungan. You know where to find us, guys.
We will see you next week. Peace.